So I'm just gonna go down the list. Number one, making sexual comments or innuendos, telling sexual jokes or stories. That's sexual harassment unless it's work related. Asking questions about social or sexual life. Sexual harassment unless it's related to the work or for safety reasons. Telling lies or spreading rumors about a person's personal sex life. Sexual harassment, not acceptable at all. Making sexual comments about a person's body. Sexual harassment, not acceptable at all. Turning work discussions to sexual topics. Sexual harassment, not acceptable at all. Looking a person up and down, I would lean towards not sexual harassment because I may be interested in one's choice of fashion or outward expression. And someone can be appreciated for how they choose to look and inspiring for onlookers. However, I still think looking a person up and down with a significant level of sexual aggression and making them feel obviously uncomfortable is sexual harassment, and not acceptable at all. Staring repeatedly at someone, sexual harassment. If the staring is sexual in nature, which I assume it is, since this discussion is about sexual harassment, this goes back to looking a person up and down where a person is looked upon too much and with obvious sexual aggression. Blocking a person's path or hindering them, sexual harassment and not acceptable at all. Giving unwanted gifts of a sexual nature, sexual harassment, not acceptable at all. Invading a person's body space, sexual harassment, not acceptable at all. Making sexual gestures or kissing sounds or offering massages, sexual harassment, not acceptable at all. Displaying sexual posters, cartoons, or handouts, unless it's work related, it's sexual harassment and not acceptable at all. Alright, so some personal notes. I haven't noticed sexual harassment between workers in any of the workplaces I've worked at before. Probably because I'm not thinking about it. I'm very ignorant about misogyny, including my own, or I'm too focused on the work, and I have no social life. So I haven't seen it or heard complaints about it from worker to worker. If anything, I only remember glimpses of sexual harassment from customers to employees, especially working as a barista for 9 months. Excuse me. That said, I have heard fellow workers express feeling sexually harassed by customers, including regular ones. Now, admittedly, there are times I may find myself staring at someone or even a worker for a bit too long, but I catch myself and continue focusing on the work. I try carefully when speaking about sex and work because I just don't have enough experience on the topic, and I know there are various strong views about it as well as double standards from different perspectives. On a second personal note, I would almost accept consensual workplace violations of sexual harassment between two people, meaning they're both comfortable with it and only involve themselves. That's a gray area for me, though, and the concept of itself is gray. And it would be at their own risk, and they would be liable, of course, for any legal sexual harassment consequences that may come up from it. Those sequence of events would follow workplace sexual harassment policies anyway. Also, I've noticed workers in relationships that do find barely debatable loopholes. So, all this brings me to my final personal note, which is just don't do it or risk it. Thanks.